Welcome back for our second session on day 2 of AI. So not wasting much of time, I request Bijal to please give an introduction of second speaker.
Mic is full. Hello. Yeah. Thank you. So before I formally introduce Dinesh sir, so when I tried to connect with him after a month back, when I told sir we are planning with this AI series at BCSC, and these are topics in my mind, he told Bijal, ये सब तो पुराना हो गया है. We have many new developments since last 1 or 2 months, and let us try to cover up all those during this series. So sir, first of all, thank you for mentoring this series and helping us to get the best speakers and the topics. So Dinesh sir is a chartered accountant and a successful information technology entrepreneur with over 4 decades of experience. Currently, he serves as an advisor, tax technology with ENY India. In this advisory role, he provides strategic guidance on digital tax solution and emerging technologies for the tax profession. His work includes contribution to EY India AI Tax Hub, a suite of AI agents designed to support deep research, compliance, and litigation functions. He began his career in the field of audit and tax compliance and later transitioned into the information technology, where he conceptualized and built several ventures. 2 of this business were subsequently acquired by multinational corporations. Congratulations, sir. He's a regular speaker on tax technology at various professional forums and also contributes regularly to professional journals and publication at WIRC, and also a member of AI committee at Institute. With this brief introduction, so I welcome you at BCIC. I'll request Jatin sir and Giriraj sir to please present Momento. So also contribution towards CABF fund. So you can commence the session. Thank you.
ये ट्राई करता हूँ, कम आवाज़ से बोल देना. Good morning. Convener CA Aman Khandelwal, Bijal, Ravi. I think it's for the first time that I'm speaking at BCSC. It's my privilege to be here today this morning. First of all, I would like to congratulate the convener and other team members of BCSC who thought about creating this 5-session special event on AI. I think it is almost like a mini certificate course that you are doing. So a big round of applause to BCSC. So I was in touch with Bijal, and then we thought through the topics which should be covered. I hope you really learned from those topics yesterday, and today I was attending Manohar's session, which was very practical. I think in AI, in last 3 years, what we have seen is that there have been many seminars, many webinars. Also, there are certificate courses which, because of the limitation, very few people are able to complete, right? Around 30,000 CAs have completed that. And there's need for more, such courses to happen in every city. But I guess the limitation is the faculty is missing. So till that happens, I think these kind of events are very helpful, but it gives you uh, a bird's eye view of the latest happening in the field of AI, because this is one technology which is changing every day. Because what was relevant 3 months ago will not be relevant today, will not be relevant 3 months after. So my topic today is AI, using AI responsibly. I believe the earlier 4 sessions were very practical, right? Mostly practical. You were actually doing what the speaker was asking you to do, and you were learning in the process. And Manohar's session was totally, practical, right? What I'm going to talk about is more conceptual concepts, right? But we'll do a little bit of, practical stuff also. So one thing is sure, that we all agree that we have to use AI in our practice. There is no going back on that, correct? But then while doing that, there are some risks, some challenges, and some limitations. So idea today is to understand that what are those risks, challenges, and how do we mitigate that. So broadly, I'm going to cover these topics. The risk main is hallucination. I understand the other speakers would also have covered, but I'm going to cover it in greater detail, the hallucination part. Then I'm going to talk about data privacy, which is again the core concept we all struggle and try to find answers to. Then briefly I'm going to talk about the challenges of adoption, because we have learned so much in last 3 years, but are we able to implement it in our offices, in our practice? And what are the challenges to the adoption? And then dependency. What is the dependency with which we have to struggle, right? And finally, we have to understand what are the limitations. That as of today, these are the limitations of the technology. Maybe in times to come, it will improve. So let's start with hallucination. I think by now you all know hallucination word in the world of AI is when AI confidently states something which is either factually incorrect or totally made up, right? The worst part is when you see the answer, the tone is very confident, correct? You start believing. Today we all use AI, we see the answer, it's so well structured, we are impressed. So it is very confident, even when it is giving incorrect fact or completely fabricated statement. So these are 2 simple statements. Factually wrong is the deadline for filing ITR for salaried is 30th June. It is not 30th June, right? But it has mentioned a wrong date, so it's factually incorrect. The other is when totally imaginary stuff is being given as a response. So this is just a sample example. I don't think any AI will give this response. But just to explain the concept, I'm just giving these 2 examples. So accuracy and hallucination, we'll use it interchangeably.
So for the timing, can we use this one? Because otherwise it's not going.
Not going there.
And then we'll adjust this one.
Sure. Yeah. Right, so these are 2 examples of factually incorrect and then hallucinated responses from AI. We all know, I think every week we hear, some news item where some sort of submission was given to a court which contained hallucinated case references, right? Now this is as latest as 19th of May. So I think I sometimes wonder that if there is so much of material around AI hallucination, there are so many seminars happening around it, why it is happening? So maybe we are not cognizant of the intensity of this problem, correct? So this is very latest, which is in an NCLT case where the submission contained many fabricated references. This, of course, everybody know, those who practice in direct text, they know about Buckeye Trust versus PCIT case, where the ITAT gave an order which contained hallucinated references, right? And which later they had to retract, and then a fresh order was issued. So now you'll be surprised to know that in spite of so much of awareness, this still goes on, not only in India, but all over the world. So there is a person, he has created this website, okay, Dimension Shelton, and he keeps updating it with all litigation matters which contain hallucinated context. And you can sort it on country, like that. So if I click on India, yeah, there are 9 cases reported so far. Correct? Here it is. So in every country you see, this is a major problem. So as professionals, we have to be very clear about this concept that hallucination is a major risk with any AI output. Okay, so I think we'll try something now live. You all have, some tools. Now, please try this prompt in whatever tool you are using. The idea here is that tool should be able to compute your capital gain tax liability. Okay, I'll just wait for a few minutes till you try it out. Bijal, you already shared, right? Now the prompt I've given is short, right? But last 3 sessions and today you would have learned that the prompt has to be given in a proper manner. You have to specify a role. So if you want, you can improve the prompt, okay? So because it was a live session, I thought of making a smaller prompt and give it to you where values are more important. Now, in this problem, what is more important is that whether the AI is able to get the right values for the cost inflation index for 2003-4 and also for 2025-26, and whether it is able to get the correct rate for with indexation and without indexation. So Bijal, if you can share the poll now. So there's a small poll which you can attempt on your phones so that everybody can see what the response is. No responses received is okay. I'll just wait for some time. Yeah. You tried? Yeah, here. Okay, very few responses. I'm expecting few more responses because larger the participation, we would know how the tools are behaving. So far, there are only 4 responses. Yeah. The results are visible on the screen. Yeah, Bijal? No. Because I'm sharing it here, right? Can some IT? उसको एंड करेगा प्रेजेंटेशन. Not visible? Okay. So the other screen is not visible, so I'm able to see the poll result. Okay, and about the 4 questions that I asked, the CIA value is correctly taken in both the cases, but the tax rate is one case is taken incorrectly. The response is very, I think just 4 people have responded. If more people respond, we'll get a better. So anyhow, the idea is that even among 4, there is one hallucination, right? One value is incorrectly taken by the, anybody can raise their hand who got the incorrect value for the tax rate with without the indexation. All right. We need some IT support, because it's getting disconnected. सब लॉग इन वो इशू हो जाएगा दूसरे में एक ही है ना इसमें तो पोर्ट का एक ही अभी नहीं आ रहा I've got a lot of signed on
विंडो दबा के फिर विंडो दबा के
कमांड से होगा क्या कमांड
हाँ ये तो प्रिंट कर और अभी देखो माउस भी नहीं चल रहा is playing with me. So there is some technical issue. Please bear with us for some time. आप चल रहा है देखो तो वो लगते ही वो माउस बंद हो रहा है
सर और अपना स्क्रीन सर का स्क्रीन पे लगेगा और ये दोनों सिस्टम को कनेक्ट कर लेते हैं एनी डेस्क इज द लास्ट ऑप्शन हाँ बिल्कुल तो सर का स्क्रीन कनेक्ट करना अपना कनेक्टर अपने किसी में डालना है एनी डेस्क से कनेक्ट करते हैं कुछ तो स्क्रीन शेयरिंग का इसमें से नहीं आ रहा उसमें तो आएगा ना
अब आया the mic? I'll continue to. Hello. Yeah, so I'm just, we are putting the presentation on the other laptop and we'll continue. Although I had a lot of other, tools which were logged in, I wanted to show it to you. But let's see if it is possible, I'll continue with that. But otherwise, let us understand. So hallucination. So we understood that hallucination is when AI generates incorrect response or a completely fabricated response. Correct? So why it hallucinates? Let us understand. There's an official paper by OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and they have given 3 reasons why AI would hallucinate. So first thing is when the LLM is trained, it is trained to give answer confidently even when it is not sure. So the option is skip the answer, say that I do not know, or give some answer. And when you give the answer, you give it very confidently. So all the LLMs, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, the LLM is trained in a way to give you answer. That is the first reason. Second reason is many real life situations will not have the complete data with the LLM so that it can generate the answer. So even if it doesn't have the data, the training says you give some answer. What will happen tomorrow, you ask 10 queries to ChatGPT, and for 5 it says, sorry, I don't have the answer. You'll stop using it. So basic training of ChatGPT is to give you some answer and give it very confidently. The third reason is the generative AI technology works on next predictive word, next likely word. Whole generative AI technology is based on framing sentences by predicting the next word. Are you clear about this concept of predictive word? Because of these 3 reasons, the hallucinations will always happen. The number may reduce, but there can be no claim that AI will reach a limit where it will not hallucinate. We should be very clear about it. Because there are so many LLMs now, we would have lost count of the LLMs. We know the main ones, Gemini or Claude or OpenAI. But there are many LLMs and more are coming. So how do we compare the accuracy levels of different LLMs? For that, there is something called benchmark. It's connected now? It's visible now? No, he's doing it, yeah. Benchmarks are a very scientific study of an LLM. So let's say I want to benchmark an LLM on direct text questions. So the process is I'll have some experts prepare sample questions. The number is pretty large, 1,000, 1,500. And those experts will only write the golden answers, that these are the golden answers. I'll ask those questions to each LLM and then compare the result. Okay? So some LLM will give 50% correct results, some will give 60, some will 70. So in a relative manner, you know that what is the accuracy level of each LLM. There are many benchmarks. There are benchmarks for accuracy, there are benchmarks for mathematics, there are benchmarks for law, finance, for every field, there is a benchmark. And these benchmarks are widely known by the users. Now these benchmarks also give preference to answer rather than skipping the answer. It is like when you go to an MCQ exam. So one is where if you give incorrect answer, you'll get negative marking. The other is where there's a 0. What you would do is you may try, चलो try करते हैं, सही हो गया तो कुछ marks मिल जाएंगे. So LLM is like without any negative marking. So it will give you some answer. Now my screen is visible? Still not. Just let me know when it is visible. Yeah. There are many benchmarks. Once my screen is live, I'll be able to show it to you if your internet is also connected, right? So we understood that the official research paper of OpenAI says that these are the 3 reasons why hallucination happens. Another research which ChatGPT has done, what they do is they take all the responses and then they measure that if a response contains at least one serious factual mistake, that versus the total answer. So what is the ratio of that? So when ChatGPT 5 was launched, they did this study and they found that GPT-5 had error response of 4.8%. And it goes up to 20% in GPT-4o. These are all official research documents available on their respective websites. You can go and see. The easiest part of any LLM is to summarize. Like when Manohar was giving the example of 53-page notice, what he said is, the first thing is go and summarize the notice. And we believe that the summarization is correct. Again, there is another research by Hugging Face, which says that even in summarization, which we consider to be one of the easiest part of an LLM, there are errors. And the errors are, there is something mentioned in the summary which is not there in the source. And that error is lowest in GPT-5 at 3.1%. And it goes up to then 4.55%. So even in summarization, yeah, Bijal, if it is visible, you let me know, otherwise.
Yes, so you continue, we're just trying.
No, it's visible now?
No, sir, not yet.
Achha, not yet. Okay, so all these are charts which are there on the screen, which I'm not able to show you. But the idea is that 100% accuracy as of today is not possible. In summarization, you'll get 97% accuracy. And now there are 2 other benchmarks, one for tax and one for legal. It's constantly updated and it is by WIRC AI. The latest tax eval benchmark, where the questions are pertaining to text only. There, the accuracy level is around 78%. So if you're using any generic LLM and you are asking any text related question, on an average, the accuracy level will not be more than 77%. That is what this benchmark says. When it comes to legal, which is more nuanced, the kind of work which is done in litigation or advisory, there, surprisingly, the accuracy level is about 87%. Now, how do we mitigate this hallucination risk? We have understood that hallucination will be there, and the facts and the research And even the LLMs who are giving you these solutions, they also say that accuracy level is only around this much. So how do we mitigate this risk? There are few ways to do that. First and foremost is human in the loop. So when you get a response, you have to treat it as a draft. When you give work to an intern in your office, you don't rely on it fully. You treat it as a draft only. So you have to check each and every line and see each and every citation which is given and verify that it is correct or not. As of today, there is no escape. Don't treat it as a final output. Second thing is, you may ask model to critique its own answer. So in the words of Manohar, attack it, but I would say, you ask what could be wrong with this. Let the model analyze its own answer and come up with that, hey, probably these are things which I may have missed. So let me re-verify or you verify. So there is a second thing. And the third thing which most of us use nowadays is use multiple models. So you give the same query to Claude and same to ChatGPT, and then you compare the result. If there is a wider difference between the two, then you know that something is amiss. These are three ways. Fourth and very important, which I really wanted to show it to you now once it is live. Great. Okay. So I think very quickly I'll just show you what I've been speaking so far. It will make more sense. These are the three reasons which I explained. And this is by ChatGPT only. It is on their website. And it says that for each model, these are the response level error rates. So all the traffic which they are getting, they de-identify. De-identify means the system doesn't know who's giving this query. And after that, somebody verifies that what is the factual error in the response. It's pretty high, correct? Right from 4.8% to 20%. Then I talked about benchmarks, which was just a definition. And this is the problem was with the projector stuff. Yeah. तो आप लगा के देख लो एक बार ऐसा. हाँ कहाँ है? I think somebody took it. So till this is fixed, I tell you fourth and very important aspect of mitigating the hallucination. Let me ask a question. When you ask LLM some query, so from where the response is coming? Anyone? What is the source? What is the source from which the LLM is giving you the answer? Database, the training data of the LLM. Any other source?
If web search is on, then web search. If web search is on, then web search also.
Then the net, then the web, correct? So there are two sources which we heard now. One is the training data. And if the question is latest, then it will go to the web. We all know that every LLM has a cutoff date up to which the training data is updated. You can go and ask, what is your cutoff date? Can anyone try it out? Go to ChatGPT and ask, what is your cutoff date of training data? Let me know the answer, please. Yeah, do we get an answer? August 2025. ChatGPT. Can you ask the same question to Gemini?
January 25.
January 2025. So January 2025 and August 2025.
December 25.
Huh?
December 25, GPT 5.5.
In Claude, right?
In ChatGPT,
ChatGPT December 2025.
25, GPT 5.5.
Okay. So the answers that you are getting primarily are updated up to this date. But now these tools are more intelligent. If you ask a question which the LLM thinks is beyond this date, it will go to internet and find the answer and give it to you. But in the internet, what it will do, it will look for open source data. The data which is not behind the login and password. So typically you get data from India Kanun, Text Guru, Clear Text. Those are the sources from which it will get the answer and give it to you. So all depends on the quality of the data. We are not aware what is the training data which the LLM has within itself. We don't know what is the source, clear text or whatever contains, correct? It's not authentic or it may not be authentic. Let me put it this way. In our regular practice, what we do, we subscribe to professional databases. We subscribe to Manupatra, we subscribe to Taxman, correct? Because we rely on the authenticity of the data. The third and most important source is what we call as, again it has disappeared. I need technical support, please. Huh? Yeah, but it's not visible to me. So third most important source is what we call as RAG. How many of you know here RAG? Please raise your hands. Can I see any hand? Retrieval augmented generation. Those who have attended level 1 course, at least I presume they would be knowing about it. Okay. So if you want reliable answers, you have to ask LLM to use authentic data. So if there is a solution, if there is an AI solution, a proprietary AI solution, which contains act, rules, circulars, notifications and all judgments, LLM looks at those data and retrieves the information and gives you the citation also. Would you believe that more? Correct? That is RAG. So all the law firms, all large CA firms would use a solution which is RAG based and not a generic solution which is getting data either from their training set or from internet. I would like to show you one example. I am not promoting any product, but I want to show you how RAG based solution would look like. Anyone here using Taxman.ai? Please raise your hand. Okay, that will be interesting for you. This is visible, right?
Not visible.
Not visible? I mean, the font is very small, but at least the screen is visible. The point which I want to make it is not the query and not the answer. The point which I want to make it is something which appears at the bottom. Now, if I click here, first of all, it says there are two modules, income tax and GST. When I click on income tax, then it says sources. Is this visible to you, the sources, or I'll read it out to you? Yeah, so it says Act and Rules, Articles, Books, Case Laws, Expert Commentaries, Notification Circulars, Practice Module, and Treaties. You can select or deselect whatever you want, or let it select everything. This is RAG. The data for getting the answer is given by taxman. It is not going to the training data, it's not going to internet to get you the answer. That is one, but how do you believe that? Or why should you believe that? For every answer then, the LLM would give you the citations that I generated my answer from all these sources. Let's say if there is this case law. Now this is a hyperlink. Okay, there's a proper citation of this case. 57taxman.com 3. So you can verify it. And in this tool, you can just click and it will go to this case law and you can read it. So all the problems we talked about of AI generating hallucinated case laws will go away if you use RAG based solution. There are many such solutions. This is just, I have access to it, so I showed it to you. There are many such commercially available solutions, and that is going to be the future. You will not be using ChatGPT or Claude for your serious professional work. At least the mid-size and large firms don't do it today also. This is a very important point which I wanted to convey, that you have to use a solution which gives you the authentic data and explanation. You can actually verify it. Okay. Yeah, so I was coming to this. This was a chart which showed LLM accuracy in document summarization. So to be at least careful in reading the summary, let us come to these two benchmarks. One is tax eval, the other is legal bench. I have given the source also everywhere, so I'll share the presentation with you. You can actually go through those sources and see for yourself. And these are updated regularly. It is not that it is very old. This is updated on 16th of May. So probably every week they update it. The accuracy level in tax is around 77% with various models. You can compare between the model, which model is doing better. And for legal, it is around 87%. In no way you are going to get a 100% correct response from these generic LLMs. I spoke about mitigating, about RAG. Now let us see how RAG is better than non-RAG. So without RAG, AI depends on the memory or the pattern or internet. In RAG, it refers to the actual documents, the authentic documents. Without RAG, it may guess the information. With RAG, it is trained to say no. So if you ask a question for which the data does not contain the answer, it will say that I do not have the answer. Because there is no pressure to do something for the benchmark.
So what is RAG?
Retrieval augmented generation. So that's a technical term for, you may consider it that it is it's reading the data which the provider has provided and getting answer only from them.
So notebook LLM is one of the RAG based.
Notebook LLM is one of the RAG. Very good, Bijal. It will give you answer only from the files that you upload on that. The advantage here, Bijal, is that over there one is very limited. You can upload maybe 100 or whatever the number is based on the plan that you have. Here it is like lakhs of documents. And secondly, it gets updated every 24 hours. So if a new judgment comes, if a new circular comes, this automatically gets updated. In generic LLM, there is a very high chance of fabricated facts, and there is no such possibility in RAG as far as the citation is concerned. Okay, I covered hallucination in greater detail. Now let's come to data privacy. Let me ask one thing. How many of you are using Google Drive? Almost everyone. Or OneDrive? So your data is already on a third-party server. Correct? Let us
Data leak from the company server.
data leak from the company server. Good. I think primarily we are so sure about Google Drive or OneDrive that although it's a third-party server, but our data is not being shared with anyone else. All the applications that you see, they are on AWS, Amazon server. So in today's world, we can't have our own server. We use a third-party server. But we have confidence and they have policies to show that nobody is looking at data. Your data is visible only to you. The risk with ChatGPT or Gemini is that they use your data to train their model. That is the biggest risk. Now, if the information that you contain is personal, like PAN number or bank account number, now that's a PII, right? Personally identifiable information, which according to ethics and according to DPDP also, you cannot share with anyone else unless there is an agreement with that service provider. There was one research which proved that ChatGPT was able to reproduce the memorized data which contained PII. So although there is enough safety mechanism built into LLM, but ultimately it's technology. And it was proven that if you keep on asking and change your prompt and ask persistently, it was able to reproduce PII data, which was contained within the training data. Now, why it came in the training data? Because somebody uploaded it, right? Otherwise, it won't come. That's the biggest risk. Second thing is, you always see there's a thumbs up and thumbs down. When the response comes, do you try it? If you are happy, you click on thumbs up. If it is bad, you click on thumbs down. Many people do it if they are not happy with that. Now, the role of that company is to improve the quality of the answer. So any answer which is flagged as thumbs down, there are human reviewers which will go through the answer. They go through the query, they go through the answer and try to fix whatever is missing in the LLM. So these are two issues. One is your data is being used to train the LLM. Second is there are human reviewers which may view your data. And the third is they have a storage policy. Now, a storage policy for Gmail, you decide how long your data will be there. If you want to delete, you go and delete the data. But once you upload a file or once you give a prompt, these LLMs have a retention policy that I'll keep it. Okay. Let us see now what are these policies with different LLMs. Is it making sense what I am talking now?
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, the privacy policy differs with the free plan and with an enterprise plan. So if you are using a free plan, in the case of Gemini, this is the answer I got from Gemini only. Okay. So it says it's low safety and high risk. So all conversation, uploaded files can be processed, retained and reviewed by human reviewers to improve and train machine learning technology in the free plan. But in the enterprise plan, prompts, questions and uploaded documents are never used to train Google's public models and not subject to human review by Google staff. That is the first reason you should go for a paid plan and not continue with the free plan. Here also, these tools provide some control to you. So Gemini provides this option, which they call as keep activity. So keep activity is on, then all your prompts and data are saved by them. If you switch it off, then also your prompt and data will be saved for 72 hours. After 72 hours, it will be removed from their server. Please go to data, go to personalization, data privacy, look at all the options and see whether you want to continue with the defaults or you want to override them. Now let's look at ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT has this option and by default this is switched on. Improve the model for everyone. So allow your content to be used to train our models, which makes ChatGPT better for use. It is switched on. And in free plan it is already switched on. You can't switch it off. But in the paid plan also it is switched on. But you can go and switch it off. So these are the controls given to you, and now they have included voice and video also. Now by the way, one thing I wanted to, a lot of you, do you use voice mode of conversing with ChatGPT or Gemini? Yes. A lot of people do it, why time? Let me talk to ChatGPT. There's one significant difference. The voice response will always come from the training data. Always. Whereas if you type something, then it may look at the internet also. Yeah, so that's one point you should keep in mind. Huh? So ChatGPT has this custom GPT. So you can go there, upload your file and just ask it to give answer only from that. But this will be limited. You can upload 5, 10, there's a certain number of files given. LLM is more, Node LLM is a very good way, the number of files is also very large.
There are
100 files you can upload, right? So up to that you can use Notebook LLM.
The size of the file is restricted.
Always there will be some restriction. Even in the paid plan there is some restriction, the size of the file, the number of files. Now let's look at the privacy data. In spite of all the problem that I talked about, there is no way out. Unless you are going for an RAG based solution, you will continue to use ChatGPT, you will continue to use Gemini and Claude. So there are 3 ways you can avoid it. One is redaction, which Manohar explained very well. You have to redact all the data, PII data. Second thing is when you are, especially when you are using data analytics part, you can use synthetic data. Supposing you are creating, I think yesterday there was a session where they showed you how to create an application through vibe coding, right? Now, when you're creating a solution, you can give synthetic data. You need not give live data to create a solution. And third is separate the identity from the transaction data, which is nothing more, is same as reduction only. So if you've got an Excel sheet containing bank statement, from the top, if you remove the bank account number, name of the account holder, branch, IFC, that part is removed. Now, whatever is inside hardly matters. If somebody paying 5,000 rupees to Amazon or 2,000 rupees, doesn't matter. So separate the identity from the transaction. These are three ways you can continue to use your non-RAG based LLMs to get you the answer. Manor already spoke about it. A lot of people use, how many people use I love PDF? Desktop version. Very good. So if you are using any online tool to redact data, it is as good as there is no privacy. Rather than giving it to ChatGPT or giving it to I love PDF, the only difference is I love PDF will not train its model, but it is visible to some, it may be, I mean, there is a small company, so their privacy policy may not be very clear, data privacy policy. Secondly, many reduction tools are not real. What they do is they put a black rectangle over the text, okay, which actually is not a reduction. So in my next slide, I'll show you that even if there is a file which contains a black rectangle around PII, the LLM is able to read it. Only possibility is a real reduction means that part you delete and then save a new file. So if there's an account number in a PDF, the reduction will say select it, delete it, flatten it and save a new file. So that is only true reduction. So obvious reason, when you are uploading it, it goes through the server of the third party. You should not upload. And third, of course, is our ethics and DPDPA. So don't use any online tool. You can use offline tool. He has already mentioned. You can use I love PDF desktop version. There are many other free tools also, right? PDF Gear, like that somebody mentioned X Gear. There are many tools which allow you to open a PDF, select the text and delete it, and then save the new file. So I tried this. I created a Word file which contained a bank account number, and then in Word only I covered it with a black rectangle, and I asked LLM to read it. It found the account number. Okay, you can try it out. So don't presume that black box means it is reductive. It is not reductive. In my MacBook, there's a tool called Preview, which has got reduction option. So it actually says reducted content is permanently removed. So any true tool will give you this information. Already, I think there are tools, or the tools are about to be launched in the market, which will be desktop based and which will have intelligence to understand that this data is PII, and it will redact it automatically. So like if there is a 100-page document, somebody asked, like, it's going to take me a lot of time to go through each PII and redact it. But technology will be here to help. Very soon you will see these tools, offline tools, using other than LLMs or some other method to identify and redact the tools. So keep looking for these tools. Okay, now very quickly I'll talk about what are the challenges of adoption and dependency. I speak to many chartered accountants, right? And what I observe is they all attend many seminars, webinars, lectures, certificate courses. But they don't have a plan to implement it properly in their practice. Right? Maybe they are too much overwhelmed with the kind of tools available, overwhelmed with the kind of risks that are involved. So adoption is a challenge everywhere. And the primary three things what I notice is there is a skill gap, definitely. People don't understand the technology to the extent it should be used in an organization. So a skill gap, the only solution is attend these courses or learn online, attend webinars. And there is a resistance to change. Because every litigation expert thinks that my style of drafting is best. Correct. I cannot agree that LLM will be able to give you a better drafting. But nowadays it's possible LLM to learn your style of drafting and give you the response in the same way. But there's a resistance to change. And third and most important thing is cost and ROI. Can I ask how many of you are using paid version of any tool, Claude, ChatGPT? This is very good. This is the largest number of razors I've seen in any seminar. So people continue with the free version. If it is a useful tool, you have to have some budget for it. If you want serious work to be done, you have to make investment, right? Otherwise, it's not possible. I know a firm, mid-sized firm, not in Mumbai, in a tier 2 city. They identified that here there's something which can really reduce their time and they will have more time to do useful work and increase their revenue. Now this firm having 8 partners and 80 people, they are spending 60,000 rupees per month on various AI tools. Because there is a definite ROI for them. They are getting much more from it than what they are spending. So you have to consider your ROI. If you are spending 2,000 rupees per month, 25,000 rupees, how much ROI you are getting out? How much time it is saving for you? So these are 3 things where you have to make a beginning. First of all, identify the tool, learn, and then have some budget for IT. The dependency challenge first is over-reliance on AI output. That is visible because so many submissions reach the codes without verifying the output given by the AI tools. So never over-rely because the outputs are very impressive. They are very confident. And you feel यार ये तो गलत हो ही नहीं सकता, ये तो इतना अच्छा लिखा है. Which is not the case. We have seen it now. The accuracy level is not more than 77, 78, 80%. There are chances of fabrication also. And even if you use RAG-based solution, ultimately to go through the submission, because when you say, see, our kind of work, which is advisory or litigation, you have to be very careful, right? Because the ultimate responsibility lies with us. You can't say, no, because ChatGPT did it, so I submitted. So over-reliance on AI output, and that is what you have to train your staff also. That just don't go, because now youngsters, they go to, any AI tool, get a nice answer and come to you, here is my answer. Second thing is skill erosion. So this is the biggest challenge, right? Ketan, you would know how many youngsters are able to do good drafting nowadays. Hardly anyone.
I have read one message, I don't know to what extent it is correct. It says that the way in which the world is relying on ChatGPT and everything, maybe 5 years down the line, people will stop writing. And there is a big danger, as I say. Because your way of thinking will change. And therefore, the genuine answers, the genuine intelligence will stop coming. That is a big fear which I always have in my mind.
Which is very true, Ketan bhai.
I'm worried about this.
Yeah. Because earlier I think everybody spent so much time in honing their skills, drafting skill, research skills. Now nobody's doing it. Earlier we used to go to Google or these tools. Now we get straight away answer is coming, so why should I even bother about learning something? The one thing we have to understand is ultimately today also these tools are able to give response Because we created so much of content manually. If it was not there, then how the response would come? Because ultimately it's looking at that data and generating the response. Now if the new data doesn't come, so this is another challenge now. If nobody writes manually, everything is being written by these tools. There is no new original content coming. It's all synthetic now going forward. So skill erosion, one thing. See today you all be here, IT sector is in doldrums. Why? Because these tools are able to write code 60, 80, 90. Yesterday I think you saw, you were able to create an application without knowing anything about coding. But why this coding is happening is because there is a GitHub where millions of people have contributed their code. They manually wrote, tested, and then they contributed the code, which now LLM is able to use and give you the answer. But going forward, if no program, and the same thing is happening with new programmers, they don't know how to code. So the basic skill erosion is the biggest dependency. We are becoming totally dependent on it. Like there was a time when we used to navigate the roads. We know every, I had to go here and reach here. Today what we do is just go to Google Map, put the link, and we'll come here. So that navigation skill is missing now. So yeah, and we are totally dependent on the vendor. There's a very interesting case which I'll just mention here. See, we all rely on tools now. Even for text preparation, we totally rely on whatever tool we are using. I'll not name it. And those tools are well tested and everything for last so many years. So we use it. In Canada, people use TurboTax Canada version. And they were relying on it, but that contained a bug, and nobody among like thousands of viewers, nobody could manually verify that this figure is wrong, and they continue to use it, and ultimately they all got notices because of the wrong figures. So this shows that we totally start relying on the tool rather than on a manual judgment. Same thing is going to happen with this AI technology also. So somewhere you have to guard ourselves that okay, this is just an assistant, and I'll continue to use my interpretation and judgmental capabilities and continue to hone them also. Okay, what are the limitations now? With all this beautiful technology, there are two major limitations. One is predictive. Let me just take some few moments to give the difference between deterministic and predictive technology. So what is deterministic technology? I'll give you an example of, let's say, income tax calculation tool on the Government of India website. You use that tool, you put all the values, income from business, etc., etc., and the tax is computed, correct? You do it 1,000 times, you get the same response. If all the people use it, they'll get the same response because it is deterministic. The rules are clearly defined in the tool and it will work on that. If you're getting a wrong answer, everybody will get the wrong answer, which is not the case in predictive. Somebody asked a question in one word session that every time I get a different answer, which is true. It will always happen. Even if you try a prompt now and try a prompt after 30 minutes, you will get a different answer. Maybe the context will be same, maybe the gist will be same, but the language will be different. So the first example which we tried, okay, if there's a time we can try one more. No. Hair time? Can you share the other one? So this is very simple one. The earlier prompt which I gave involved calculation. Now I have a simple prompt. So I think everybody is getting notices from professional tax department saying that you are registered under GST, you are not registered under P-tax. So if you are registered, you provide the detail or you proceed to get the registration. So I also got, correct? And this is the actual notice which I received. So Vijay is going to share with you. Now you all are expert, you know how to do prompting. So please prompt the tool, and I want you to prompt, say that in my case I am 65 and above. So there's an exemption given to people above 65 for getting any PTEX registration. Okay? So all of you please try this. Ask, upload this notice and ask the tool to create a professional response giving reference of the PTEX provision which exempts people above 65. Okay, even if 4 or 5 people try, let me know what is the reference given to the section or the whatever, annexure or the article. Do we get the same response is what I want to see here. The response is simple, that although I am registered under GST, but I am exempt from PTEX because I am over 65. Yes, anyone is trying, Aman? Do you get any reference of the act or the rule?
Yes, exemption provided under the Maharashtra State Tax on Professions for legal employment.
That's only the act. But within the act, do you get reference of the section or rule? There is no such. Anybody else has tried? Can you give a further prompt that please provide a respective section?
So it is stating section 27A of the Maharashtra state.
27A of the Maharashtra PTEX Act. Okay. So the response he got had reference of the section, and the reference which the response given to Aman did not have it, right? Anybody else?
Now when I further give another command, that time it gives 27A subsection.
Okay. So luckily you both got 27A. In another seminar I asked, people got different sections also. So if you look at the slide, in deterministic, same input, same output. But in predictive, same input will give you different output every time. Yeah. Yeah, I think just 2 more slides, so we can continue with Q&A. Yeah.
Sir, but aren't all AI is predictive only?
All. Yeah. It's generative AI and which is predictive. And how this prediction happens is, this is a very simple example. Okay, if it has to frame a sentence, and the beginning is the cat sits on the, then it will check what is the probability of the next word. So mat has got 80% probability, sofa has got 10%, dog has 0.5, refrigerator has 0.001. So it will pick up mat. Okay, it's all prediction. Prediction based on highest probability.
Even if then the next word the person prompts, use sofa, even then if we consider mat?
No, then it will change. But then see, this is the basic technology behind it. It is trained.
It starts evaluating even when you have not finished your writing.
It has got so much of data, right? And there are patterns in the data. Like every letter that we end, it always ends with thanking you, yours faithfully. Now there's a pattern which it will find. So it will always end the answer with that. Same way, it will find that the cat sits on the mat is most commonly found in the training data. So it will predict mat and then put it in. So that's the whole technology. It is improving, it's improving drastically. But that's the only technology which is behind LLM. And that is the basic limitation of the technology. Now prompting, I think enough has been covered on the prompting. Every speaker would have covered. So very simple thing I want to say is that a vague prompt will give you vague output and a clear prompt will give you useful output. Okay, there are 4 components to any good prompt. One is specify clearly what you want. Second is assign it a role, that okay, you are an expert in Indian Income Tax Act, in litigation and advisory. Third is give all the context. Like in this case, I gave that, capital gain is to be calculated. So give a context that my client Ashok has sold a property and he's evaluating what is the best way to save tax on capital gain tax. So that's the context. And then you give the output. So you give output that give me comparative tables showing the tax with indexation and without indexation. So if your prompt is structured, you'll get a better response. If it is vague, you'll get a vague response. So these are my concluding thoughts. AI plus human in the loop is the way forward. So AI will amplify your productivity and humans will ensure reliability. Correct? And the last slide that I want to talk about, I really like to summarize all the sessions with Dave. So 5 things you have to keep in mind. So one is start with a clear objective, which is a clear prompt. So unclear prompt will give you unclear response. It should be very clear what you want to ask. Second thing is do not confuse speed with accuracy. You'll be so happy the moment I type and press enter, the answer starts coming. It's amazing. I mean, a human cannot do that. So speed is not equal to accuracy. If you get a fast answer, it is not a defendable answer. Okay, it's not a professionally reliable answer. Third is treat AI output as your starting point for review and refinement. Again, if the first answer is not correct, don't stop there. Maybe your prompt was incorrect. You give further prompt, follow-up prompt, refine it. Do it in multiple steps till you get the answer that you are expecting. Okay, and if your first response is weak, continue and refine the prompt. And fifth and last, select the AI tool carefully. The quality of data and reliability of the platform matters significantly. So if you are using any generic tools, you know from where the answers are coming. So for any professional work, try and use your tool carefully. So we start with the Q&A.
Hello. Yeah. Sir.
So now we are starting the Q&A session. So those who have question, any queries, they can raise the question. Sir, both sir are there, they can answer it.
Sir, the last point you told that, fifth point, that select the AI tool carefully. So I just wanted to know, is there any platform where these tools are rated? So we can have that this in 25 there was cloud was up, or in the next earlier year what was the rating? So it helps us in selecting the tool.
I want to show one screen which I missed showing, and I want to show it here to answer your question. So it is, I spoke about benchmarks. So benchmarks are the right place where you can evaluate the reliability of each tool.
I request everyone to kindly sit down. We have just more 10-15 minutes left for the seminar.
Okay, I think this is one very good site. Okay, wells.ai. Okay, in wells.ai you will see the benchmarking of all the tools pertaining to various tasks. So for finance, for legal, for anything. So go to wells.ai. According to me, that's the best place to select the tool.
Can you spell it? Please spell it. VA.
VALS. Just I think Google it. Wells space AI. VALS space AI. You will find the right link here. Yeah.
So two questions. I have tried a couple of commercial RAG-based tax research tools. Somewhere there also I thought some bit of hallucination was there. I don't want to name the tool, but to give an example, I was doing some research on India-US DDAA, related residency rules and stuff. The response which I got is, if an India-US treaty exists, you will have to do X, Y, Z. Now, there is an India-US treaty, but there is no question about that.
Understood.
So that was one, and so while I agree, we have to move from generic to specific RAG-based tools, but how do we, how much and how do we rely on those outputs?
I think difficult question to answer because what you mentioned is something which the tool should not have. Either it has the data or it doesn't have the data. So a good tool will say that I do not have the data to give answer. It will never say that if there is something, So then there's some problem with the tool only. Having said that, what improves in a RAG-based solution is retrieval. So it is seeking the answer from the database. Okay. But the data is also huge. For any query, you have to look at, add rules, circular notifications. To synthesize all those data and come up with a succinct 1-page or 3-page answer will require some kind of, processing. Now there again, as we saw, even in summarization, there are chances of 3% error. 100% error-free is today not possible, no possibility. But you can reach 95, 96%, 97%.
So second question, can I ask?
Yeah.
So predictive generation we saw. Somewhere I was reading, and I'm not sure if it is 100% correct, that even numerical calculations are predictive generated. So I don't know.
You are absolutely right. This is one point I did not touch upon. We all talked about text only. But we rely on tools to give us reconciliations, right? That's the most common, purchase versus to be. Everybody does it. And we think that the tool is able to look at all the numeric data. There's another research paper which shows that there are so many errors happening within the numerical data interpretation. So even that is not 100% correct. So what I would suggest is for all numeric also, don't give the task to the LLM. See, there are two ways of approaching this. One is you upload purchase register and 2B and ask it to prepare the reconciliation. The other is generate a Python-based code to do that. Now once you have the code, then for any code, the next step is testing. You test it, whether it's giving correct result or not. Now if testing is giving you correct result, then you can start relying on the tool rather than on the LLM.
I think that is brilliant. Thank you.
That is the way to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any further query?
Okay, thank you very much. So now I request Aman to give official vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of BCSE, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for our esteemed speaker, Dinesh Tejwani sir. Sir, we are sincerely grateful to you for sharing your valuable insights on using AI responsibly. In an era where artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the way professionals work, your session served as a timely reminder that while technology offers immense opportunities, it must be used always by guided by ethics, professional judgment, confidentiality, and responsibility. Your practical perspectives, thought-provoking examples, and balanced approach towards the adoption of AI have provided all of us with a deeper understanding of how CAs can leverage technology effectively while continuing to uphold the highest standards of professional conduct. We deeply appreciate the time and effort you have devoted to preparing and delivering this insightful session. Your contribution has added immense value to the seminar series and has left the audience with several important takeaways. Once again, on behalf of BCSE, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, and for this enlightening presentation, for inspiring us to adopt AI with responsibility, integrity, and professional prudence. And thank you, audience, for making this 2-day seminar series a great success for your active participation. Thank you.
And we would like to apologize, sir, for having
Yes.
Hers? Hers?